what's going on, guys? It's CNinja202. Welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be doing what we did in 2021 when we predicted the Euro 2020 predictions. We're going to be predicting the World Cup 2022 group stage and who's going to win. We're going to be starting with Group A. I like this group. Unfortunately though, a lot of it's quite unpredictable, but it's quite weak in terms of the teams that we have here. We got Qatar, the host nation, which is, I don't know. What do you say? I think they won something. The thing is though, their squad, I don't think it's good enough to compete against many of these other teams. So we're going to put them in, unfortunately, bottom of the group at this moment in time. We then got Ecuador here, which is another interesting one for the fact that they did pretty well. They qualified, coming fourth in their domestic group to qualify for the World Cup. Had to beat a lot of good South American teams. And they might be a fun bunch. I just don't know how strong they'll be when it comes to the World Cup. The obvious thing to do is put them third, but I don't know. They could easily cause an upset. I've heard, me recording this on the 17th of November 2022. I've heard now that Sadio Mane is not going to be in the Senegal squad. So where do you put Senegal? Do you think Senegal will not do as well, or will they do better and come second? Because I'm thinking they're going to be second in this group. Alright, I'll reveal what my first pick is, which is the Netherlands. I think the Netherlands will top this group with quite ease. I think their style of play under Louis van Gaal is pretty good, and they've been in some really good form in terms of the Netherlands squad as a whole, and I think they're going to improve on their Euro 2020-21 disaster, in my opinion. How are you losing to the Czech Republic 2-0, and you've got some of the best quality in biz, but I think it's a bit disrespectful because the Czech Republic did pretty well and probably passed some expectations of them. Anyway, I'm interested to see what the fixtures are, actually, because the fixtures can always tell you how a nation might do, determine how your form might be going and might swing during the actual group stage itself. So obviously we've got the opening game on the Sunday night with Qatar versus Ecuador. You're probably saying that Ecuador's going to win. They'll be top for this particular group. It could be a draw. There's always the possibility of draws happening. Looking at these fixtures and what I kind of thought and was thinking about what's going to happen, I'm going to say Senegal will finish second, Ecuador will finish third, and Qatar will finish fourth. So here's my Group A predictions. Okay. Let's move on to Group B. It is the most exciting group, with England being in it. Obviously, from me being from England, it is something we need to win. We have to win this group. It has to be England top. I don't care, we're cruising through this group. It has to be. If anything else is just failure. Predicting the other teams in this group is not as easy though. But what you can say is that with these types of teams, you've got the USA, which before we got to this point where I'm recording my predictions now, I would have said that USA would have been second or something, because I think they might have overperformed what they would have done, and I think they would have qualified. Because they have a lot of talent from the USA, and that talent is growing. It's still growing. It will not be at the level of any European power, but it will be. It has grown, but maybe not to the extent that it has for like Netherlands or England or something like that. Iran did pretty well. The last World Cup, I remember, they drew with Portugal, but they had to. I think they drew with Portugal, but it wasn't enough or something for them to progress, so they finished third in their group. I mean, this could easily be what we could see with what's happening. I really don't want to say this because I think that Wales could do something in this tournament with Gareth Bale, and I think they've got the team to do it. I think coming that momentum from the World Cup, their qualification was a really nice thing to happen to them. But I don't know. They got England on the final day, match day in Wales. This is. You know what? I'm not sure if Wales is going to do well this tournament. Just got a feeling that they're going to lose to USA in this first match day, and I don't think they'll beat Iran. That's another thing. I don't think they'll beat Iran, and they're not going to beat England. I'm sorry. That's a non-negotiable for that. I am going bold. I mean, I'm going really bold here. I mean, I don't know what I'm probably thinking, but it's happened many times before. It happened in 2010, I believe. It happened where England topped their group, but then USA came second. I'm just looking at again. I'm going based on these fixtures that might happen, because the fixtures can always, they're not guaranteed that you win your games, but you think to yourself, will that momentum force you on top of the group? You kind of just got to think about that type of thing as well. Group C, here we go. We got an easy one, I think, in my opinion. I think Argentina will top this group. There's no way about it. I'm sorry. If Mexico or Poland top this group, I will eat my hat. I'm sorry, but Argentina are on a very good run here. They've played really well. They've played some really nice football. Not really seen it as such because I don't tend to watch them as much, but I saw them win the Copa America last year, and I've seen a couple of Messi goals as well, so I guess they're doing pretty well for themselves, and they'll always do well for themselves in this group. Yeah, I'm sorry, unfortunately Saudi Arabia, you're going to be fourth in this list, because I generally don't know many players in your team, and I mean, you look at the last World Cup. They came third. Yeah, I completely forgot. Egypt came last, and with basically not scoring a goal. They didn't. All right, so they scored 2 goals. They scored 2 goals. One was a penalty, and then one was something else. I can't remember. But anyway, I don't think that Saudi Arabia will get away with this one. Even though they might have some good players in that group, I just don't think so. There are too many players that's strong in this group. They could get some Joe from Poland. I mean, I don't rate them so much. I think they're going to be third. I think Mexico are actually going to find their feet. It's what a North American country does well in this tournament. 2 of them I predict to be doing pretty well. Poland, unfortunately, yes, they have Lewandowski, but you're not a one-man team. And the fact that I just don't think Poland are that very good, to be honest. I remember them playing against England, and I think they were hardly anything to see. That's my prediction for Group C. We then have Group D. Okay, it is not the group of death, but it is something that is probably a France team and a Danish team. An Austrian team and a Tunisian team. All teams where basically one thing hangs over one of them, though. France. The fact that they won World Cup last time, they have the Champions Curse, unfortunately. The thing is, though, I don't think they'll go out. I don't see... I'm sorry, but what is Australia... Is Australia going to do well? I don't think that... I mean, this is the best case scenario for the Champions Curse to have an effect. I mean, I think the Danish, they've done really well. I think they did really well in the Euros, and I think they've done well ever since, really. I have to back the Danes, but then, I mean, it's a dangerous game, you know, counting France out, because they have so much talent, they have so much in the bank. They've got players that are coming in. Yes, they have some injured players. They have Mbappe, for goodness sake. They have all these other interesting things. They're not playing well, though. That's the thing. Like England in the Nations League, they weren't playing well, but you know, who cares about the Nations League as such? But you know, just the fact that it's on form, and I don't really rate France as such. So, because I think they're just all over the place at the moment. I think they might need to change coach potentially in the future. You could say any of them really. I mean, Australia could do well, but then I'm gonna put them bottom. This is my Group D prediction. I remember it was very similar group actually in the 2018 World Cup. Right. Okay. I'm gonna back France. I think you know there's the Champions curse. I know, but you know what? I don't think there's any doubt that France are a good team, and maybe they'll mess up in the group stages. I don't know, but you know, maybe it's just all in my head. And thing is, though, I brought back France in the Euros to finish top, so I should be good. So yeah, that is it. That is my Group D. Okay, after many minutes of trying to figure that out, which is very, very difficult. But you know, I put them as that. So yeah, that's going to be the case. We move on to Group E. It is another sort of group of death. I suppose it's not really, but you could say that because they got. I like Japan. I really do. I mean, I liked them in the World Cup for the last time, and I think they've got some really good players for this World Cup. I wonder though. I think I'm getting dragged into this, but I before I started this video, I was confident that Germany would top this group, but now I'm not so sure. But okay, firstly, Costa Rica will finish fourth. I literally don't think they'll lose to anyone. They can't. They can't finish any higher than any of those teams in the group. I refuse. I'm sorry, Costa Rica, but you're just not very. You know, look at the quality of Germany and Japan, maybe Japan and Spain. And I have to back Spain. But then Spain didn't top my group last time. But then you've got to back Spain because of what they can do with the ball. Okay, that's my Group E. Okay, I'm going to go with that. Alright. That's probably going to be wrong. It's the Irish guy. Remember, he put Germany third in this group. And that was one of the ideas I actually did have. You know, one of the things I did think, even before Irish guy actually said that, that Germany would potentially, if they didn't get it right, then they could find themselves out of the World Cup. But then they could overperform and finish top of the group. That's why I thought to myself at first, coming into this, that Germany would. I was settled on Germany to top the group, but then I've just looked at you looked at the fixtures, and you know they got Japan first, and then they got Spain. And then they got an easy game against Costa Rica, but you know it's not easy. But could frustrate Germany somewhat. Could they finish? Could they not get a result there? I don't know. But anyway, that's what I'm going to go with. Group E. We got Group F. Yeah, this is an interesting one. We've got Belgium, we've got Canada, Morocco, and Croatia. One of these teams which I don't really tend to trust is Belgium. I think they could do not so well this World Cup, but because it's a World Cup and because they're in tournament stuff, they will finish top, I think. I thought before this, I have to admit, again, like Germany, I think they could have finished second in this group, but no, they finished. I think they'll finish top because now I kind of see that I don't think there's any other team that's good enough to beat them. Second in this group, I'll put Croatia because of the quality, and I think they've got the experience of the last World Cup, but also what they did wrong in the Euros, and they've got some new players that will, do well. I think. No, I trust Canada. I trust Canada more. I'm sorry, Morocco fans. I trust Canada more. All right, I trust Canada a little bit more. I just have that feeling with Canada. They've done really well. I think there'll be a surprise package in this tournament. Unfortunately, I don't think they'll qualify for the last 16. But very exciting for their first return to their first World Cup since who knows how long. Unfortunately, I don't think they'll have the stamina and the quality enough to finish anywhere near that qualification spaces. We then got Group G. Okay, Brazil. Do I say any more? I don't think so, because Brazil are the favourites of this tournament. They are very much one of the favourites, actually. And they got Jesus, they got Martinelli, they got Neymar, they got a lot of guys who will really help and secure top of the group. I mean, Cameroon, I'm not really sure. I don't really know many of their players, and I just don't think they'll have enough quality as well. It's a real shame, but unfortunately, I'm going to finish bottom. What do you say, Switzerland? Again, it's such a I mean, how very similar is this 2018 World Cup qualifying stage here? I mean, it's exactly the same. You've got Switzerland, Serbia, and Brazil in the same group. Cameroon is the only outlier, and Costa Rica was, last in that group. Last World Cup, and you think to yourself, what do you do here? I think it's going to be Switzerland again. It has to be Switzerland to qualify. I mean, it can't be anyone else. I think they've got a lot more quality than Serbia. Yes, they have Mitrovic, they have all these other quality players, but I think, I'm sorry, that'll be a crime if Switzerland don't at least qualify in second in this group. So yeah, that's going to be my pick here. Then we have Group H. Again, last minute changes to this. You think to yourself that Uruguay will top it, Portugal not so well, but then, and so on and so on. But no, I've changed my mind again. It has to be Portugal. 2 reasons. Ronaldo. I've just seen his full interview of Ronaldo and about Manchester United and literally what's been happening over the last few months with him and his particular issues off the field, which is really sad, actually, to be honest. He's being used, actually. He's being very much used by the press, and by a lot of people have not said the kindest things about him, which I think are very much unfair to the stature of him and the man he is, really. I think he's very disrespected, but he is confident. He said in an interview that he feels he's ready. He feels he's pumped up. I think he's gonna lead Portugal to toppling this group. All right. You question the coach a little bit with his lackluster performances and questionable tactics, but I think they'll top this group. I'm sorry. It doesn't matter what Uruguay have done, and Uruguay, they've topped groups before in World Cups and stuff. They've won the World Cup before, but it has to be Portugal's turn. I'm sorry, there's no other way. I won't accept anything else. What do you say here? I mean, for the last 2, Ghana or South Korea, it doesn't really matter. It won't really change the last 16 or anything, but will Ghana improve firstly on their disappointing African Cup of Nations performances? Will they perform? I don't know. Then you got South Korea, which they didn't finish bottom last time. They finished 3rd. You know what? We'll put Ghana there because history with Uruguay. That's all I can say. That is it. Okay, that is it. That's my group stage predictions to what I've created here now with the round of 16. It is a very entertaining set of fixtures, very good fixtures actually, if you look all around. We'll start with left to right. We'll start with Netherlands versus USA. I don't think they'll have enough against Netherlands, and you know, it has to be the Netherlands. So what I will say though, there are some players that are not playing as good as they have done for their country, for their club, and potentially not for their country if they don't get it right. Everyone would like to see actually. Two competitive teams here. I think you got to back the Argentina. It's something in their blood. All right, I don't know. It's the fact that you're not expecting Denmark to go through. If Denmark do go through, then it is an absolute failure for the Argentinians. We're going to go with Argentina as going to the quarterfinals. We go on to an always a potential tie here. We're playing a African nation in Senegal. England have to go through. England have to do well in this tournament for this World Cup. They have to. France, there's no questions asked. Unfortunately, Mexico. Yeah, it's not going to be your time. I mean, they're not even feeling that confident. I suppose they're not feeling that confident, and they've gone out of the round of 16. How many times, I really don't know, but that's the stat I remember hearing people say. We got Spain versus Croatia. Is another one of these games where Spain did pretty well against Croatia the last time they faced each other in the Euros, I remember. They won 5-3, I believe. Croatia did well, just not enough. How they fare this time, I don't know. I think you just have to put Spain, you know what, we'll put Croatia, because I think though that this team just doesn't have enough goal scorers, but also I don't think they're as balanced as everyone says they are. Maybe they are, I don't know. You look at them in the Euros, you think to yourselves, this could be a really good team. I don't know. It's still up in the air with this team. We then got Brazil versus Uruguay. I think you go Brazil. You got to go Brazil, I think, in that point. Fortunately, I don't think it's Uruguay's time, but I mean, the fact that they have a coach apparently has done a bit better with their team, apparently. We've got Belgium versus Japan. A classic, it was the round of 16 tie. Oh yeah, I completely forgot actually. It's the round of 16 tie. Yeah, it's when they won 3-2. I'm going with Japan. I think they deserve a bit of revenge for that. I mean, they did well to come back, to be fair. But I thought Japan was really good that day. The last one here, we got Portugal or Switzerland. It has to be Portugal. Just the fact that, again, I've packed Ronaldo and his other teammates to do well. But there is a world where Switzerland beats Portugal. Granit Xhaka have another masterclass of a performance, and his other teammates as well. So we make it to the quarterfinals here. We have many of these teams now. We're getting down to the last four. We're gonna swivel them down. We got a really nice tie here. We got Netherlands versus Argentina. We're going to go with, what a surprise, we're going to go with Argentina. Because I'm not sure if the Netherlands can, I think they'll do well. I don't think they'll win the thing. That'll be mad, I will say. So Argentina has to win for this match. We'll go on to Croatia versus Brazil. Another team, Croatia, which is pretty good, but Brazil is better in terms of footballing ability, in terms of quality. But you could see Croatia, doing the same thing again and getting to the World Cup semi-finals. That is something that I would have never thought of, but they probably will do something like that. I don't know, but in this scenario, I'm going to go with Brazil. England versus France, the fixture that was never played. It should have happened in the World Cup final, but was never played because of this team in Croatia ruining our chances of playing the champions-elect in the final. I think we could beat France. I really do. I really do think we could beat France in a tournament like this. People, Gary Neville's always said, "Oh, we can't compete with teams like France and all these other good teams and stuff." I think we can. I think we've got enough good quality in our squad. I think we just got to get. If we got the balance right, we've got the balance right in our squad. If we play well during this tournament, then we've got every chance of beating everyone, and that's what happened in the Euros, and that's why I predicted us to win the Euros. Unfortunately, that did not happen. Okay, it shouldn't have happened though. It should happen this time though. Japan versus Portugal. Unfortunately, Japan is the end of the road. Unfortunately, they would have done a great service to their country, but against a Portugal team potentially on form, I think Portugal will win. And we set up a tie of clashes in the semi-finals of this tournament. We have Argentina versus Brazil. The Copa America final that happened. What do you say to that? You say Argentina are the favourites because they won the Copa America. But are Brazil the favourites though? They could be. They have the quality. They do. Do Argentina have that yet? Let's do it. Let's put Argentina in the final. Okay, we're going to put Argentina in the final, and against Brazil, they will win against Brazil somehow. The next fixture we have is England versus Portugal. A really good tie, a tie that would really test us. It really would. Against a team like Portugal. Yes, they have a few weaknesses. Yes, we have weaknesses. Obviously, the cliches again, but you have to go. You have to go with England. I'm sorry. You have to go England. It has to be. It has to be this time that we get through our roadblock of the semi-finals. In 2018, we had that roadblock. In 2021, we rectified that roadblock, but we were roadblocked by the actual tournament, and we didn't win that. We have to win the World Cup this year, and I think that's why in the final, Argentina versus England. Funny enough, actually, this is 40 years ago the Falklands War started. It's 40 years, the anniversary, so it's quite fitting actually with Argentina and England in the final in this made-up scenario. But I think a reality it could be. But I would have to back England. It has to be England, alright. Winner of the 2022 Qatar World Cup has to be England. The trends, I think the trends will say it. Historically, it will be England, I think. And the fact that it'll be a real, be a new country, it'll be an interesting challenge for a lot of these players. That's another thing. Not all of them are going to be on form, obviously, for the England side, and not a lot of them have performed this year. But if we play our cards right, and that we've chosen a good squad to take to the World Cup, I think we've definitely chosen right by picking key players like Saka. Ben White is going to be really crucial, I think, for this tournament. Ramsdale is just another keeper who I think probably should start, but I think Pickford is well deserving of his starting in goal. Again, how do we play? That's another thing. Will it be our back 5/back 3, or will it be the 4-2-3-1? Which I think we should play. But I do understand if Southgate does pick what he perceives as the best possible way of winning. That's going to be it, really. Yeah. England to win the 2022 World Cup. Okay. If you have enjoyed this video here today, hit the like button and subscribe to this channel, because we want to make this channel into a very good place and we want to be the best in business. Alright. So guys, I will see you guys all in the next video. Bye!